Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. I thought today we'd do a little seascape, one that's real easy, and I believe you're going to enjoy it. Let's start out and hammer on all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. While they're doing that, let me show you this crazy canvas I got up here today. Today I've taken my standard old 18 by 24 inch canvas, but I've painted the top with alizarin crimson acrylic. Let me say that again. It's acrylic on top, and the bottom is black gesso. Then I've covered the entire thing with a very thin coat of the liquid clear. Down here on the bottom, I've taken a little Prussian blue and sap green and ran across just a little bit. And down here a little brown made from alizarin crimson and sap green. So there's brown on the bottom, there's sort of a blue-green here, and this just has clear on it, and we'll play. All right, just getting the introduction there was a biggie. Let's take a little titanium white, then I'm going to come right around here, get a little bit of the midnight black, and I'm going to make a gray color. Just white and black, or black and white, whatever your preference. Now then, let's go right up in here. And I'm just going to dance in a few little areas here and there. Just a light gray color. I don't want to cover up all this red, but here and there I want to have just some little indications. The white is very opaque, but if you get it thin enough, the red will still show through and it'll give a reddish hue to our painting, at least in the sky. There. Something about like that. That's basically all we're looking for. Just some little indications here and there. All right. Once again, I don't want to kill all this red. I want it to come through the color. So you need to really thin it out. And because the liquid clear is on there, you can get this very thin and it'll work out for you very nicely. There. Now, while I have the old brush going, I'm going to take a very, very small amount of phthalo blue. Just a little bit on the old 2-inch brush. Very small amount. I just want to tint the sky here and there with a little phthalo blue. Not much, not much. Be careful. Once again, I don't want to lose this reddish aura that we have through the entire painting. Just want to add a little blue here and there. But once again, not much. Maybe a little right down in here. Just wherever, and we'll sort of play back and forth as we work. Now then. Okay, time to wash the old brush, because that's a fun part. I just really look for excuses to wash the brush. Shake off the excess. And just beat the devil out of it. There we go. Let's build this today a happy little cloud. I'm going to take a little titanium white right on the old 2-inch brush, same old brush. And let's go up in here and let's just drop in the indication of some little clouds that live up in here. Maybe wherever, it doesn't much matter. Wherever you think they should live, that's exactly where they should be. Just some basic little shapes. Okay, be right back. I'm going to grab a blender brush here. This is a very, very soft little blender brush. It allows you just to blend these things together. That easy. That easy. All right. See how easy it is to make a fantastic little cloud? You can do this. All you need is a little practice, the right equipment, and off you go. Okay. That's what makes this style of painting so unique and so wonderful, is that anybody can do it. You don't have to be blessed by Michelangelo at birth. You can create a beautiful painting. Yeah, you can do it. All right, maybe another little happy cloud lives right here. Notice we're doing them in layers though. Now then, back to my little blender. La, 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 there we are. Just blend it away, wherever you want it to go. There. See, but this keeps the edge nice and firm there by doing it in layers. So don't get greedy. I know, it gets good, and you don't want to stop. You want to do them all at one time. But take your time, take your time. Just try to do one at a time. There. Maybe. I'm just letting this sort of dance around. Maybe it comes right out here. Wherever. We're going to have some big clouds in the sky today. So you just decide where you want them and drop them in. It's really that easy. Just tap them in. Maybe there's even a little bit goes off in here somewhere. back to our little blender. So all I'm doing is just picking up the blender, and then we'll begin putting these together. Just blend them away very softly. We're going to have a monster sky in this one, I can tell. There. That little blender brush, though, it's so soft you can go right over the paint without mixing it all up. There we go. I want to just feather those edges out till they're very quiet. You almost don't see them. They just sort of disappear. There we are. About like that. That's all we need. That's all we need. Already, that's looking like a pretty nice little sky. I like to do skies like this. They're a lot of fun. A little more white. I'm not stopping yet. I think we'll just put another happy little cloud in there. Maybe it comes around like that. Goes off. You make a decision. In your world, you decide where everything lives. The clouds, the sky, little birds. There. I'm just going to put another cloud in here. You know, in one of the earlier shows, a couple of the earlier shows, I showed one of my little baby squirrels that I'm raising right now. And we've had so many people write and say, I want to see him again. So I'm going to put up a little bit of footage here and let you just check out my little squirrel. This is the one we call Peapod Jr. because he sort of likes to live in my shirt too. Yeah, isn't he a mess? I love these little rascals. They're so much fun to feed and to play with and to work with. It creates a whole new awareness of nature when you work with little animals like this. Probably in every town nearly in the country, there are people who work with injured and orphaned animals. And this is where I get all these little animals that you see. I try to work with these people and help them out. Any way I can make their life a little easier. And they allow me to share just what you see right there. Some of God's little creatures. Isn't he adorable? By the time you see this, he'll be living out in my backyard. Because we do not keep these little animals. These are wild animals. And they're meant to live outside. And that's where we put them. But hopefully, he'll hang around the backyard and allow me to continue to share his world for a little while. Look at there. He's not the neatest eater in the world, is he? But that's okay. Every year I raise several of these little rascals and turn them loose. There. Just gives you a good feeling. All I'm doing is just putting in some clouds while you're watching little Peapod Jr. there. All right. He wouldn't share either. You notice that? That's totally his. None of that's for me. Okay. I think we about have a little sky finish. I hope you enjoy watching those little critters because they really are fun and they're very important in my life. So I took a little touch of the phthalo blue and just added right there. Just a little touch. All right. Now, I have a little piece of masking tape here just to protect my horizon line. But that's the only reason it's there. A little touch more of the phthalo blue. I already have white on this little blender, so they'll just sort of mix together. Isn't that a wild sky? I bet there's a storm coming here. All right. Now then, I get to wash the old brush again. That's really all I wanted to do. We wash our brushes, as you know, in odorless paint thinner. Shake off the excess. And just beat the devil out of it. Okay. I'm going to take off this little piece of masking tape. See, now that way my horizon line is nice and straight and very even. And that was Prussian blue and sap green. I want to add just a touch more where the piece of tape was. There. Just adding a little bit more, like that. Okay, we're in business. I thought today, let's play a little bit. Seascapes give some people a hard time. They're not the easiest thing in the world to paint. So let's make a seascape that's a little easier to do today. We're going to use the small knife a lot. And I'm going to take a little roll of paint. And I'm going to start out by just figuring out basically here where my major wave will be. I want one big crasher wave. It comes right up here. Maybe it bends over like that. And maybe there's a little dooter there, and off sort of like that. That's really about all we're looking for. That's just a shape to tell us where the old big wave's going to live in our world. And back here, maybe there's a little wave that lives there. Putting a lot of pressure on the knife, bending it. Bending. If you don't get too crazy, the knife's pretty strong. You're not going to break it. Now, I will take a number 3 fan brush. I'm going to use the small one today. And very gently, I just want to blend that back a little bit. Just enough to do that. See? We don't want to lose. It's the dark area right here that's important. Don't lose it. Hang on to it. It's a good friend. Just blend a little bit of that color back. Just a little. See? Don't get too crazy. I know. It gets nice. And a little bit in here, a little bit there. Now then, tell you what, while I have that little brush going, I'll take a little more titanium white. And back in here, I'm just going to put some little indications of some little strokes that will make it look like little distant waves far, far away. Something about like so. We're not too worried about these. We'll sort of put them together with the liner brush when we put detail in there. There. But that's really about all we need. It gives the indication that something's happening back here. Other than that, I'm not too worried. There. Now then, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. We'll take some more titanium white. And I'm getting a little roll of paint on the knife, right down to the edge. It lives way out there. Now we said that this water was going to come around here like this. So all we're going to do, just touch and give a little pull. Give a little pull. Like that. There. That's going to be the top of that wave. Grab my little number 3 fan brush again. And I'm just going to barely touch this and give it a little tiny pull over like so. And that's about all I'm going to do to that. Now, we need an eye in the wave, or as it's commonly known, the pretty part. We'll take a little titanium white and go right up in here and just begin rubbing with the knife. Just rub it like that. See? That's all you have to do is rub it. It'll get as smooth. I'm going to take a little bit of the cadmium yellow, a little white, and I'm going to put a little touch right in here and rub that. There. Looks like sunlight just zipping right through there. Just like so. But already, see, it's beginning to give the impression of a wave. It's that easy. Okay. Take a little phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, proportionally much more crimson than the blue. All right. Let's grab a little white and put in there so I can see what color I've got. Ooh, I like that. I like that color. Nice one. Sometimes it just works. Wonderful. And we'll come right in here and we'll put a little indication, maybe a shadow. There, and just rub it in. It's going to mix with that color that's on the canvas automatically. Automatically. This old crasher wave goes right up here and breaks the horizon. There we go. Just splash it up in the sky. About like that. We don't know where it's going yet. We'll make that decision in a little while. Take a little phthalo blue, a little bit of white. There. And we'll just make a nice bluish color, maybe a little darker than that. About like that. That's pretty nice. I like that color. All right. There. Now we have several different values we can use. And we could begin thinking about maybe there's a little dooter that comes right there. I know, that didn't make any sense yet. Watch. Watch. It'll come. It'll come. Here comes the water coming right down. We can just put all kinds of little things in there. Just blend them together. This knife will do fantastic things if you just give it a chance. just rub it. I like to do entire paintings using nothing but the knife when I'm at home. But that's hard to do on television with the limited time frame that we have. But you can do the entire painting with nothing but the knife. You really can. All right. Take a little bit of the titanium white. Just want to make it look like that water's beginning to fall over. Something about like so. Now then, let's take, I'm just using the knife here, and I'm just going to touch it and let that water splash and churn and crash as it comes over. Just boom. Make little sound effects when you do this. It really helps. Get you in the mood. Think about a day at the ocean. Shoot, if you don't live close to the ocean, then just sort of imagine it. Painting is imagination anyway. It's imagination that you can see. There. But that easy, you can make the indication of just a happy little foam wave crashing, churning. There it comes. All right, we need something for that to be a hitting on there. Let's take some of our browns, Van Dyke, dark sienna mixed together. Throw some black in there too. I want it dark. Maybe, yeah. Let's put us a nice rock right here. There it is. Just a big old happy rock. Gotta have something for all this to splash on. There I go making them noise again. I'm sorry, I get carried away making noises. If you was to record me at home when I'm painting by myself, people think you're nuts. I sit around all by myself in a big old empty house and make weird little noises. But they say, you know that Bob, he's a painter. Painters are sort of strange. So it's okay. Take a little black, little white, little brown, mixed all together. There. Now I want to come right in here, and I'm still just using the knife. Just going to sort of put the indication of a stone here. I have to keep wiping the knife off. Just wipe off the excess paint. Then just by rubbing it, you can begin to create the illusion of all kinds of things happening here. And painting is nothing more than games of illusion. That's really all it is. On a flat surface, you make it look like there's depth and dimension. That's what it's all about. We'll take a little white, a little touch of the phthalo blue, not much, and very gently, just begin bringing these two together. Just churning and fighting and crashing and carrying on there. There we are. Something about like that. All right. Now, let's find, there's one. I'm going to take a little Indian yellow, some white, and just mix them together. Indian yellow is a very bright yellow. Let's go up in here. Maybe, shoo, right there. We'll put some reflection right in the water. About like that. Now, if you start in the brightest area and work out, automatically it'll pick up that color underneath and get darker and darker as it works out. A little more color, lightest area, and then we work outward. That easy. See, it gets darker and darker automatically. Now we'll go across, just like we're making reflections, because that's what it is. It's just reflected color. Now already it looks wet. Like that. Now then, time to start having some fun here. Take a little white, a little blue, and maybe firm pressure right along in here. Like that. Firm pressure. There we go. Really get in there and work it. But isn't that a neat way to make a little seascape? And as I say, if you've had trouble with seascapes before, this might be the answer to your problem, because it's very simple, it works. Put another little duder out there. firm pressure. I want that nice edge to be there. And you need to wipe the knife continually to get the paint off. There. Running around something like that. A few of these little dooders, we can bring them. See, it's up to you. You make the decisions. You make the decisions. Wherever you want them to be. All right. Just all kinds of little things happening in here. You can pick up a little of that color and bring it down. It creates the way the water is going to flow. That easy. All right. I get carried away when I do these because I like them. I like to do these little rascals. And I like to paint with a knife. It's really, as I say, when you're at home, you can paint entire paintings using nothing but the knife. Try it. You'll like it. I'll take a little more of the blue and white. Once again, our little roll of paint, I want one more of those little dooders. Lives right here. Something about like that. So it just goes right on off the canvas. Gives it a little more depth. And put a few little things. Now we can take our little fan brush and very gently just grab that and pull it back right across the water there. See? Just pull it back. Just grab that color. That needs to go pretty straight. You don't want your water to look like it's running up side of a mountain or something. It needs to go fairly straight. All right. But isn't that a super simple little way of making a very effective seascape? I think you'll like that one. Try it. And I'd love to hear from you. You know, if you have time, drop me a line. Send me a photograph of your paintings. My gosh, we get some of the most beautiful photographs people are doing all over the country. Marvelous, marvelous paintings. I want to brighten that so it stands out. Looks like the water's coming over a little bit. There, a little bit in there. It's up to you. You decide where all these little rascals live. We can splash a few little more things up in here. Don't want to get this too crazy. Up in here. There. All right. As I mentioned, we could take the script liner brush, a little paint thinner. I'm using white with a touch, just a touch of phthalo blue in it. And here and there and there. You can get in here and put in some details. Just put in all kinds of little waves and things that make your seascape really special, fantastic looking. But that easy. Just thin the paint down with paint thinner, and then it'll slide right over here. There, see? Once again, I think this is one of the easiest seascapes we've ever come up with. It's a lot of fun to do, and you really can do this one. We'll have a little doer. It just comes right down the wave there. Anywhere you want them. There we go. And you can put as much detail in your world as you want. Or you can stop right there, you know, right where it was. Take a little of that lavender color, and I just want to highlight right around the edge of that. That little dark line will help set everything off. And even under here, if you put a dark line, it'll make it project up. Just put a dark line under all those little things right like that. And I think we'll take a little red, and we'll sign this one. I'm going to call it finished. Hope you've enjoyed this little seascape. It's a lot of fun, and I'd love to see what you're doing. If you do have time, send me a picture. Until next time, from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.